Welcome to lesson 1.1. So we're going to start with solving multi-step equations. So your little foldable, the rules to live by, is already set up on your table. So you're going to glue it on the left side of the paper just like this. Your formatting for your equations may look a little different, like number 4 for me in my actual notebook is like right here. It could be beside number 3, but for my iPad purposes, it's a little different. So just make all 4 fit however you need to make them fit, okay? So remember, the goal of solving an equation is to get the variable by itself. So isolate the variable. So the first equation we have is a two-step equation. So we have 3x minus 7 equals 14. So we need to get x by itself. So the first thing we're going to do is move that negative 7. It's easier to move addition and subtraction than do multiplication and division, unless there are certain things with fractions, and we'll talk about that in a later lesson. So because I have 3x minus 7 equals 14, I'm going to do the opposite of minus 7. So I'm going to add 7 on both sides. And so 3x equals 14 plus 7 is 21. Okay, now that I have 3x equals 21, I need to figure out what number times 3 is 21. So 3 and x are being multiplied, so we're going to do the opposite operation, or the inverse operation. So we're going to divide by 3, and we get x equals 7. Okay, ta-da, we solved the equation. Now remember, we can check your answer. So if you solve an equation and you get like a little insecure about your answer, you're not 100% sure, you can always check your answer. And here's how you check. So we have the equation 3x minus 7 equals 14. Well, we figured out x equals 7. So we're going to plug that in. So 3 times 7 is 21. 21 minus 7. 21 minus 7 is 14. 14 equals 14. So yes, that works. So we checked it. As long as you get a true statement there, like 14 equals 14, then you worked. If you get something like 8 equals 21, you messed something up, okay? This part right here, you can put in your calculator. It doesn't have to be anything crazy that you work out by hand. On our notes, we're going to, but you can totally type it in your calculator. That's fine. Okay. Number 2, we have an equation. This one you can solve 4 different ways. It just depends on which thing you move first. You get to decide that part. You get to decide which one you want to move. I typically try to avoid negatives, and I typically move variables first. But that's just kind of how my brain naturally works. So I'm going to move the 3x to the 5x. If I move the 5x to the 3x, I'd end up with a negative. So I'm trying to just avoid negatives as much as possible. It's not always possible, but if you can, you can. So since it's a positive 3x, I'm going to subtract 3x on both sides. Okay, so 5x minus 3x is 2x. 2x plus 24 equals 56. Remember, make sure you're not rewriting the equation with funky junky stuff. Keep everything where it's supposed to be, on the side it's supposed to be. Okay, so then the next thing I'm going to do is, since I need to get rid of plus 24, I'm going to subtract 24. So then I have 2x equals 32. Okay, and then I'm going to divide by 2 on both sides. And I get x equals 16, okay? So you can check that by plugging it in. So 5 times 16 plus 24, and 3 times 16 plus 56. So times 16 times 16. And again, you can use your calculator for this. Don't feel bad that you have to use a calculator. It's completely fine with me. Okay, so 80 plus 24 equals 48 plus 56, and 80 plus 24 is 104, and 48 plus 56 is also 104. So 16 is the correct solution for the equation. That means you solved the equation correctly. If you get a false statement, then you probably messed something up. You need to go back and rework the equation, okay? If it works, then you're good. You can move on. Okay, number 3 has distributive property. So remember, when you have parentheses like this, you have to multiply the 7 by each thing on the inside of the parentheses. So 7 times 5x is 35x. 7 times 12 is 84 equals 294. Okay, so then I'm just solving for x the same way. Remember, we want to isolate the variable. So I'm going to get rid of the addition and subtraction first. So I have 35x equals 210. Sorry, I'm rewriting this. Okay, so 35x equals 210. And so I'm going to divide by 35 on both sides, because 35 and x are being multiplied, so we do the inverse operation or the opposite operation, and so x equals 6. Okay, so again, if you're unsure, you can check it. So I have 7 times 5 times 6 plus 12 equals 294. Let me scooch that over, sorry. Okay, 7 times 5 times 12. So now we just need to make sure when we plug in x is 6, that gives us 294. So 7 times 30 plus 12. So then 7 times 42. And 7 times 42 is 294. So yes, that works. That means we did this correctly. Okay, so again, if you get the wrong thing, that means you messed something up on the equation, okay? Okay, now this one, negative 7x minus 13 equals x plus 11. Again, you get to make the decision which piece you want to move first. So you could move the negative 7x, the negative 13, the x, or the 11. Your just goal is to get all the variables on one side, all the numbers on the other, okay? That's the goal of it. That's what you need to do. So what I'm going to do is move the x, so this little x right here, so I'm going to subtract x on both sides. Now, you have to pay attention to your negatives, because negative 7x minus x is negative 8x. Minus 13 equals 11. So just make sure you're paying attention to that, because if you mess that up, that's where you're going to go wrong, because you would then get 6x if you added them or did something crazy like that. So then I'm going to add 13 on both sides, and so I get negative 8x equals 24. So then I'm going to divide by negative 8, and so x equals negative 3. Okay, now you can check this. So you don't have to write the full equation like if you run out of room. What I'm going to do is negative 7 times negative 3 minus 13, and then negative 3 plus 11, and this you can type in your calculator. So negative 7 times negative 3 is positive 21, and 21 minus 13 is 8, and then negative 3 plus 11 is 8. So yes, that works. That is a correct solution. So that's it for lesson 1.1. Bye.